I bought this weird lens from AliExpress for just under $120, but is it any good? Well, it's made by a company called Kay.
Hi people, and I'm back cooking.
And despite its relatively low price, first impressions are actually pretty good. It's very nicely made and it's entirely metal in its design, which actually feels pretty premium. Now that said, although it is relatively small in size, this thing is pretty hefty, weighing in at around 600 grams or 21.2 ounces. Now the listing states that this is an 85mm f2 Petzval lens. So what is a Petzval lens, you may be asking? Well, the original Petzval lens was designed by Joseph Petzval in 1840, and this lens revolutionized early photography with its wide maximum aperture, incredible center sharpness, and distinctive swirly bokeh, which quickly made it a favorite choice for portrait photographers at the time. And considering modern Petzval lenses usually sell for a lot more than this thing does, I was actually pretty excited to see how this baby would work out. But before we talk about that, there are a few things that make this lens slightly unusual. Now firstly, there's no focus dial or aperture ring, and that's because this has been modeled on the original Petzval design, so the focus is actually adjusted using this side-mounted screw knob thing here, which does take a little bit getting used to, I can tell you that much. Now controlling the aperture is also just as strange because there are no aperture blades inside this lens. Instead, you have to drop in these included plates, or you can just remove them entirely and shoot at the maximum aperture of f2. But what's the image quality like? Well, to put it bluntly, the photos it captures are softer than baby shite and have more color aberrations than a kaleidoscope. To make things worse, when shooting into a strong backlight, this thing flares so much it actually makes it almost impossible to see anything, let alone focus.
That was a negative, and right now I need 2 positives.
But all of that said, whilst this is certainly nowhere near as sharp as the original Petzval lens, I can't say I entirely hate the effect it produces. When paired with a vintage-inspired color grade or high-contrast black and white finish, I think it kind of works, kinda. But what do you think? Is this something you would actually like to try out, or is this just a total piece of junk?